What's up, everybody? It's Justin. Welcome. I know a lot of you by name that you've lost weight with zero fitness because nutrition is the key to that. So fitness exists for just two reasons, okay? There are two reasons that we have fitness, neither of which are fat loss, you will notice. Number one is to build muscle. Number two is to improve specific skills, right? Like if I'm a boxer, I need to box. I train jujitsu, I have to train jujitsu. If I want to be an Olympic lifter, I have to practice Olympic lifting. None of this has to do with fat loss, okay? So what's happening is most fitness protocols are useless because you're dancing around like a moron in your living room. I'm sweating, and you're trying to lose fat, and it doesn't work because then the same Beachbody guy tells you to eat whole grain bagels. So you can't lose the weight doing these silly things. So you're trying to do things, you're trying to do fitness that is not designed for fat loss. Fat loss is not here, okay? There's no fat loss here. So you're trying to do these things to lose fat, and they're things you don't enjoy doing to begin with. So you're doing something you don't enjoy, and you're not getting the results you want. How are you going to get sustainable change from that? You're not going to get a sustainable lifestyle change where you do this long term. So that's why you do Beachbody, P90X, 30 days, or Insanity, or whatever. So the exercise doesn't help you lose fat. So using it as a form of fat loss is like smashing your face with a brick every day, over and over. You're doing something that you hate, something that's painful, that's not going to yield you any positive benefits. So why do it, right? So if your goal isn't building muscle, the only reason that you would work out is to improve specific skills. So when you're doing this silly jump around your living room stuff, right, that must mean the only reason you would do it, it must mean that your goal is to become the very best at completing a P90X video. That's your goal. I'm going to be the best P90Xer ever, right? No, that's nobody's goal. Nobody's goal is to get better at doing living room workout DVDs. If that's your goal, you're a crazy person, okay? Because that will impact your life in a positive way? None. Okay? That's the thing. So what I'm saying is your goals are not aligned with the activities that you're doing. You don't need to do these silly things, and don't teach your kids this. Don't teach your kids this workout mentality. You don't want to do that. There is a different way, and especially with kids, this is going to be harder for you to adopt because it's going to be so new to you, and you probably have decades of doing this in strange ways. So what we want to do, especially with kids, and this is, yes, I'm Justin the Paleo guy. This all started for me through paleo, okay? So everything that I do is built on paleo principles, right? The foundation is paleo, and I move from there. If you were losing weight, I make you track macros, or I talk about anti-lectin diet, or all these things, right? So paleo foundation, built on a paleo foundation. If we talk about fitness, we're going to go with the Paleolithic, right? Ancestral. How is your body meant to be used, right? It wasn't meant for silly P90X workouts. It really wasn't, right? Like ancestral is conserve as much energy as you can until you need to use it, right? So our ancestors literally walked all the time. They were never sedentary. We're dealing with nomadic cultures, these hunter-gatherer tribes, right? So they're on the move constantly. They're foraging, and then they need all-out bursts of energy, where it's like, I need to lift really heavy things, or I'm building a shelter, or I have to run from a predator, or I have to run to hunt to kill something so that we can live, right? So I try to use my body the same way. Not exactly the same way. I'm not just doing sprints every day or anything like that, but it's this idea of functional fitness, right? So we're doing things that are functional. Functional fitness meaning that the adaptations that you're driving, this is the way exercise works, is you put a stressor on the body reacts to that stressor and adapts to it and gets stronger, right? Like they talk about tearing little muscle fibers, that's way oversimplified. That's not exactly what's happening in all weightlifting, but that gets real sciencey. You don't need to knock down a house to build a new house. You can just build an extension on the house. So you don't have to destroy your muscle fibers. That's another thing, just overtrain, right? So that's the thing, is functional training means the forced adaptations that you create will help you in everyday life. From carrying groceries, to picking up your niece and nephew, to playing with your grandkids, to playing pick up softball with your buddies on the weekend, which I think is really important. Recreational activities are important. So I do some form of functional fitness every single day. Right? And I can tell you what these things look like. So I've kind of just taken notes on this so you can understand. Like number one for everyone, and this is what I do every day, is a movement practice, right? So think of this as daily maintenance, right? So this is just movement. Notice I haven't used the word fitness, I haven't used the word exercise, I haven't used the word workout. Move your body, right? Movement. This could look like yoga, it could look like stretching, and I'm talking, movement, let's say 5 to 10 minutes. So maybe wake up in the morning, drink some water with your sea salt, right? Get out in the sun if you can, do this in your yard. Walk around your yard, move around your yard, do a little bit of yoga stretching, do some warrior one, right? Just wake up in the morning with a little bit of movement. My favorite is animal movements. So you can look up free online videos, I'm sure, if you did an animal movement workout or animal flow videos or things like that. Those are fantastic, like bear crawls and ape and all these things, these lizard crawls, all these things you can do, they're fantastic for movement. Just move your body. Movements are the best, right? They're fantastic. Then the other things that I do, and again, you don't have to do this, I'm just walking you through this to get you out of this dedicated workout for fat loss bull that you're used to, right? Then I do skill training. These are things that I want to improve, right? Maybe I'm working on kettlebell training, or lately I've been doing handstand training, and I train jujitsu 2 nights a week, right? So these are things I want to get better at. They're all movement practices. I'm moving my body. If you believe in calories in, calories out, I'm burning calories, but I'm practicing skills. These are things that I love. It's not Tony Horton yelling in my face while I'm miserable and swearing at the TV, right? So those are skill training. Then, this is my favorite for families, and I do need to be better at this, admittedly, because I am an entrepreneur workaholic. I'm very good at these things. Now, what I recommend for families that I need to get better at is recreation. So this looks like going for a walk with the family after dinner, or going on a hike, or playing tag with your kids in the yard, or going to a local swimming pool and everybody's swimming a couple laps, have a couple races with the family, like go swimming, right? Or go to a rock climbing gym. Hey kids, we're gonna take you rock climbing or whatever, or go to the park and teach your kids how to do yoga, right? This should be recreational stuff. This is fun activities. And then when we talk about maintenance, the number one, the fountain of youth for overall health, and I do think this one is important, but far less regularly than you might think, is resistance training. This is very heavy resistance training. And that probably goes against everything that Jillian Michaels ever told you, right? But very heavy resistance training. Resistance training is the only thing that increases bone density as we age, so it actually helps tremendously to prevent injury. And I'm talking very, very low reps, very, very high weight, right? Now, not 1 rep max. You're not doing your max. Maybe 70% of what your 1 rep max would be, right? So let's say you're doing 5 reps. Make 5 reps your max and do 3 sets of 5. And I'm talking about compound movements, okay? I want to talk to you about compound movements. I'm going to tell you what everybody else does. Compound movements are movements that work more than one body part at the same time. So if I'm doing a squat, let's say I'm working hamstrings, quads, glutes, my abs are engaged, all my back muscles are engaged, everything. It's a full body move. This is a compound move, right? Now my favorite, if you're worried about injury or mobility or things like that, free weights, barbell training isn't the best for everybody. For some people it works. Something like Strong That's 5x5 is great. But you've seen me do these crazy ARX videos. Look up ARX training, that's crazy. The Body by Science book is fantastic, right? And I go deep in all this stuff in I Am Clovis and how to use it. But resistance training is really the fountain of youth. And this, I'm talking once to twice per week, and it should never last more than 45 minutes. I mean, max. If you come work out with me and resistance train, I'll smoke your whole body in 15 minutes. Done. Literally. That's your maintenance dose. That's what we call MED, right? MED. This is minimum effective dose. So you don't need this 6 days a week, this 5 days a week, this nonsense, this Beachbody 80-day obsession. But you're hurting yourself. Ancestral man, Paleolithic man would have thought you were a crazy person. They would have thought you were possessed by a demon doing these types of workouts. It's really ridiculous. And I mean, not to be like a dick about it, look at me, right? I don't work out 5 days a week. I don't do this crazy nonsense stuff. You don't need to, okay? And I want you to understand, I just want you to look at this, frame it differently, and frame it differently for your kids so that your kids have an easier go of it than you did. Don't ever teach your kids to diet and work out. Teach your kids to be physically active. Teach your kids to be physically active and teach them to do things that you enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it. So now, let's look at the flip side of things and look at how everybody else gets in shape, right? Society's general ideas of fitness are ridiculous. They have zero functional application. So you go to the gym, you get on a treadmill or elliptical, read a magazine or watch a movie at the cardio theaters until you're huffing and puffing, everybody is miserable and hates it. Then you wander around from machine to machine like, what isolated move should I do now? Oh, I'm gonna do bicep curls. I really need to do these bicep curls. Now I'm gonna do tricep extensions. Gotta get my triceps worked out, right? And then you like, when are you ever in nature gonna sit down and lift weight and do quad extensions, leg extensions? Nothing about this is functional, right? That's not how the human body works. We've just designed these things for aesthetic physique muscles for the bodybuilding world, right? It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense, and you don't need to do these things. Well, 4 sets of 12 reps sounds good because I don't want to get too bulky, right? It's like just craziness. Now, low weight, high rep training is the single fastest way to get injured. Like, it's absolutely the single fastest way to get injured. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously unsafe, right? People think it's safe because it's light. It's just silly. And most steady state cardio obviously like negatively impacts your joints and your ligaments, and it's not good for cardio. Like endurance runners, like competitive endurance runners, are at a 70% higher risk of cardiac disease. 70%. This is clinically proven. People that do chronic steady state cardio every day, these people are world record holders, and they have a 70% higher risk of heart disease from all the cardio, what we call cardio, that's supposed to be good for your heart. Makes sense, right? Again, a societal norm. We don't know what cardio means. We just say it. Over and over and over, we say it. Cardio, cardio, cardio. Put you at a higher risk of heart disease. Clinically proven, people. Again, that's a societal norm. And you need to erase that societal norm. In everything that I say here, I want you to remember that 2/3 of the American population is overweight. More than 2/3 is overweight. More than 1/3 is morbidly obese. That's 40 plus pounds overweight. So if you think that I'm the crazy guy, that's fine. You can keep doing what the mainstream is doing. Just know that that's the road that you're heading down, right? So when it comes to physical activity, stop being normal. When it comes to physical fitness, the term I like to use, I was joking with Josh today, the wizard, is you need to date around, right? When it comes to physical fitness, you need to date around. Expose you and your kids to as many things as possible, because bodybuilding, CrossFit, and jogging works for some people. Those people are very rare, and society proves that, because for every one fit CrossFitter you have 1 million people who are overweight and absolutely hate CrossFit and would never do it. They do one and say that's the worst thing ever. But maybe those don't work for them. What about yoga, dance, hiking, swimming, tai chi, slacklining, rock climbing, gymnastics, boxing, mountain biking, acro yoga, kettlebells, softball, dodgeball, volleyball, whatever. Go do goat yoga, right? Literally, the list of physical activities is endless, and the odds are there is some form of physical activity that you love. There's some form of physical activity that your kids love. There's some form of physical activity that your significant other loves, or that your extended family loves, right? There's some form of physical activity that you and your family probably love, and you just haven't tried it yet.